Hey guys, it's WeirdCo back again to review the new cards that have been revealed over this past week since WeirdCo's last podcast episode. I've given it a little time before talking about these cards so I can see them in action and see how they stack up to the rest of the current card library. And that is the only reason why I've waited. Yep, the only reason. Anyways, let's waste no more time and talk about some cards. Take Control is a 2-cost green quick hack program with a 2 RAM requirement. When played, a rival unit steals 1 less gig this turn, and if it's either an AI, drone, or vehicle unit, you get to draw 1 card. This is our first instance of a control card that directly affects gigs in this way. No doubt we'll have more cards in the game that increase the amount of gigs you steal, decrease the amount of gigs you steal, like this one, and ones that will prevent gigs from being stolen at all. This is a very strong control card and is admittedly surprising that it's in green and not blue. It's also an extremely cost-efficient card if we break this card down a bit deeper. You can start by visualizing this card as essentially being a 2-cost blocker that you can use straight from your hand to catch your opponent off guard and prevent them from stealing a gig. Every blocker in the game currently has a cost of at least 2 eddies, so that alone makes this card's cost very reasonable. Not only that, but it has the second ability of drawing you a card if it was used to target one of those listed unit types. In my last video, I briefly spoke about how a lot of programs cost 1 or 2 eddies, and they do a thing, and then let you draw a card based off of an additional requirement, and this card is being added to that roster. The act of drawing a card at its base is worth 1 eddy, so if you were to get that draw effect in addition to the act of blocking a gig steal, you would, in effect, get a 3 eddy value out of this card, which is very eddy efficient. Where it loses a bit of that value, though, is when your rival is attacking with a unit that has a double-digit power and threatens to steal multiple gigs in a single attack. A traditional blocker would be able to prevent all gig dice from being stolen if they're able to block that attack successfully. However, this one can only stop 1 gig from being stolen. The trade-off of being able to gain that value on a 9 power unit or less, plus the ability to play this directly from your hand, make this card more than worth it to run, and gives green a very powerful tool in terms of control. The next revealed card that we're going to talk about is Red's 4th Legend. Atom Smasher has now entered the game in legend form as Red's 3rd Go Solo legend. He has a staggering 9 eddy cost to go solo, but hits the field with 9 power and a powerful on-play ability, which is a baby version of the Atom Smasher unit, in that he defeats a rival unit flat out. Hitting for 9 immediately and also removing a rival's unit is a very strong combination for sure, but I admittedly am not sure how I feel about this guy without doing some testing with him and seeing what other support cards Red will have upon launch, particularly in regards to dealing with high cost units like this. 9 is incredibly expensive for a card, so I'm hoping more methods of ramp or cost reduction will be introduced to cheat him out a bit easier. He also has 9 power, which is only 1 more point of power higher than V, who costs almost half as many eddies as he does to go solo with. It's also 1 less power than Placide has, and Placide costs 1 less eddy to play, and his unit removal effect can be used repeatedly, unlike Smashers here. I would feel a bit better about this guy if he had a solid 10 power, but perhaps they didn't give him 10 because it would have made him too powerful, and maybe that's a sign that they will have some support for him when the game is officially out. I can only hope so because I'm not sold on this guy at all. Even if you splashed Red into double yellow to make use of that RAM program they have, it still doesn't seem like he's super great, at least in the context of the cards we've seen thus far. I feel confident he'll be better than what I'm giving him credit for here, but the jury's still out for now. In any case, it's neat that you can run a full Red Go Solo Legends strategy if you really wanted to lean into that aggressive playstyle. Hey guys, sorry for the intrusion, it's WeirdCo here in editor mode, injecting myself into this video as we've been given a 4th card this week and I wanted to include him in this video. Sketchy Ripper is a 2-cost, 0 power yellow unit with a 2 RAM requirement. He has an attack trigger that allows you to search the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal a gear card from among them, and then add it to your hand. You then bottom deck the remaining cards. This card has quite a powerful effect, as it's a repeatable Victor-Vector call trigger, which will greatly help any gear-centric strategies find the card that they need for the given situation. He only pulls 3 cards instead of 5 like Victor, but his effect allows you to add any gear card, where Victor was restricted to only pulling cards with a cost of 2 or less. So this guy is able to pull out the big guns, literally, when they get added to the game. Anyways, this is not only a very powerful and valuable ability to find the gear card you need for the given situation, but if you need more resources in hand to sell and you missed an Eddy drop or 2, or you have no sellable cards in your hand for the next turn, this guy can help you dig to find a card that you can sell, which greatly helps in making Adam's Smasher more consistent to play, which is fantastic. Sketchy Ripper is now our second cheap unit with 0 power that has an ability that draws cards from our deck, the first being the newly revised Evelyn Parker. And now that we have one unit like this in 2 of the 4 colors, I predict we will likely see a similar unit be added to both red and green, as WeirdCo's design team tend to mirror similar styled cards amongst all of the colors, as evidenced by our cantrips that add cards to your hand in differing ways, and of course our big boss monsters for each color with a similar cost, power, and RAM requirement. If I had to make a Nostradamus level prediction, I'd have to say that we'll be seeing the return of Ruthless Lowlife soon, being red's equivalent of this effect, and as for green, well, who knows, but I'm sure they're coming soon. Overall, I like this card's effect, and now that we are likely to see at least 4 units with a similar design philosophy enter the game, it makes cards like Caliber and Royce all the better, as their on-play removal effects can easily target these guys, and these guys warrant removal as quickly as possible. Alright, that's all I have to say about this guy. Back to the originally scripted video. Enjoy. Alright guys, I've saved the best card for last, so my fellow blue boys, now is our time. Lizzie Wizzy is a 5-cost, 2-power blue unit with only a 2 RAM requirement, which I'm quite surprised by. I figured this thing would have at least 3 given the power of this card. She has a play effect that allows you to play a program with a cost of 3 or less eddies from your hand or trash for free. You then bottom deck that card after it's played. This card has been out only a few days and has skyrocketed the amount of people I see playing blue now. The reason being, of course, is her incredibly powerful ability of playing a program for free. Now, the true power is that this unit allows you to use your trash pile as a second hand of sorts. Any card in any TCG that allow you to play from your trash or graveyard or discard pile or whatever you want to call it, they're always incredibly strong, as the more cards that are released in that game, the more viable targets there are for this effect, and the more powerful the effect becomes as a result, because you'll have more tools to use depending on the game state. Currently, the program to use with her is of course Chrome Reverie, which conveniently has a 3 eddy cost. So, for the 5 eddy play, you get a 2-power blocker that can also attack, and use a trashed Chrome Reverie that you used previously, or perhaps discarded when using Brigitte's or Placide's effects. By the way, that synergy of using her ability to subvert the tax that these two have regarding their removal abilities is quite potent, especially for Brigitte, as pitching 2 programs is a pretty hefty price to pay, but Lizzie Wizzy can help ease the burden of that a little bit by allowing you to play one of those pitched programs after the fact. This is an amazing card, and anyone else that have been playtesting this game will no doubt have things to say about either being Reverie locked forever because of this card, or locking their opponent out themselves. She is currently the cornerstone of control for the moment, and I love her dearly. Thank you, WeirdCo, for giving us blue boys this gift. That's all for this video. What do you think about my takes on these new cards? Which of them is your favorite, and how have they been treating you in your games? I'd like to hear about other people's experience who've been playtesting with these cards. I'll be back soon to cover any new cards that might be revealed in the upcoming podcast episode, and I'm also pretty deep into testing a variety of different cards out to make future deck tech and gameplay videos for. If you have any decks that you would like for me to try and cover, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I hope you got something good out of this video, whether it be entertainment, education, or inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.